tricky things that trick kids up as they're working. They're really, really familiar with taking an equation and just going and plugging and solving. But as soon as you start adding words to it, it starts to make it a little bit less clear. So our goal today is to kind of work through some word or story problems for addition and subtraction by thinking about what information we have. So we're going to want to look at the information we have, the information we need, and also trying to create a model that or a diagram and then relate that to an equation. And then we'll solve it and think about whether that makes sense or not. So again, over here we have some words that mean addition. We have more or total. You might have some. You might have added to, in addition, right? There's lots of different words that can be used to help you try to determine whether you're going to need to add. And then when you think about subtracting, you're going to be having these words that are used or things that left or disappeared or taken away, difference, more than when you're doing some comparing. Over here, I've got a problem. I've got this problem that says you drove 237 miles on Monday. You have 285 more miles to drive. How many total miles will you drive? So here, when I think about what I have, I want to go up in here and I'm going to mark a couple of things in here. So I got this 237 on Monday. I'll mark that down here. 237 Monday. And know that dash does not mean subtract. It's just a dash telling me that it's for Monday. 285 more miles. And then when I think about what it looks like I'm solving for, total miles. Total miles is a question mark. And that's going to be really helpful because I want to think to myself that how I set up my equations. Again, when I have an addition problem, I've got some number plus some number equal my total, right? And this here is the total, right? So I've got a number, I got another number, and it's going to equal my total. Whereas with subtraction, this here would be my total, and I take away some number, and then that's going to equal another number, my difference. So here, I already know that this here is probably going to hint at the idea that total here is going to, again, with this idea for adding here, I also see this word more, and that usually is going to be a hint to tell me to add. So if I make this into a diagram, I have my total. It's going to look like this here. My total is made up of two different numbers. They look like they're about the same size, roughly. So one is 237, and the other one is 285. And then up here, we have this question mark, okay? I can relate this down here now to making into an equation. So here, just knowing this here, I know that these two things are going to go together, and then when I put them together, they're equal to that. So 237 plus 285 equals x. Again, I'm gonna get rid of that question mark and call it x. I should probably come over here and we're gonna cross that out and make it x because we want to make sure that we're talking about this idea. X is just that it's an unknown. We don't know it yet. And if we add these together, we will know it. So here, if I continue to solve it, 237, 285, I like to add them vertically. It makes it easier for me to add. When I add that, I have 7 and 5. I know that that is equal to 12. My 2 in the ones column, 1 in the add my extra 10 into my tens. 3 plus 1 is 4. 4 plus 8 again is 12. 2 in the tens column, 1 on top of my tens. 2 and 2 is 4. 1 more equals 5. So I have 522 total, and I want to get my label on here, miles. I could come down here again, and instead, I can come over here and decide that I have something like the following. You drove 237 miles on Monday. You drove 30 miles less on how many miles did you drive on Tuesday? So, and I could also put in here again, I could put how many total miles. I'm going to do that in order to make it a little bit tricky. Because again, this idea of total makes it think to myself that I have here that I'm going to be going and I'm going to go and make this into addition. But really, I have to look for my other keywords here. I drove here, so again, 237 on Monday. Okay. And then here, Tuesday, I have kind of this less, 30 miles less. 30 miles less than what? Oh, you drove 3 miles less on Tuesday. Okay, so Tuesday here I know is minus 30. It's Monday minus 30 is what it is. Looks like that there. And then my total again here, my total in this case is a question mark or an X. I don't know what that is because I know that this here was Monday and I got rid of my 30. I put that up, put a little parentheses around it so we can be really clear what we're talking about. Here now, I know that my total here is going to be this amount over here where how many total miles did you drive on Tuesday? Ah, I see. So if I look at this here, I'm not really looking for a total. I'm looking for a difference. So I'm going to look at this here, and again, I know that I have my 237 goes here. As I come down here to do my subtraction, I know that I have 30, and then I've got some number. And I probably actually want to make this a little bit more clear. So I want to come through here because 30 is a really small number. I'm going to put that over here. This is 30. And then I've got this other number over here, which is x. And again, if I think about my diagrams as they come together, I know that these two numbers in the bottom, my x plus 30, is going to equal 237. To put it another way, I could think about my total, 237, minus 30 will give me x, or my number that I'm looking for. And in that case, again, I would know that it is 207. Okay. As you're working today, you want to make sure that you're looking through what information do you have? What are we trying to solve for? Here, if I were looking at this and I said, hey, you drove 30 miles less on Tuesday, and I did 237 plus 30, I would have 267. And if I think about this on here and I go, it says I drove less on Tuesday. Does 267 work? It is not less than 237. So I know that in this case, it cannot be correct. Okay. Give that a shot as you're working today, looking through addition and subtraction word problems. Again, they're going to only be an addition or subtraction. So think to yourself about what it is, what information you have, then draw a little model, and then try to solve it. Think about once you've solved it, whether it makes sense with the question that is being asked.